Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're going over some big updates on the used car market. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. The first big piece of news is the fact that certified pre-owned cars are becoming more and more popular. Month over month from January to February, there was a 1.9% increase, and year over year from February 2022 to February 2023, there was a 7.3% increase. And so this is showing that, well, again, certified pre-owned cars are becoming more and more popular. And what is expected is that this year in total, we'll see about a 3.5% increase in certified pre-owned sales compared to last year in total. Now, something that does need to be mentioned is this is not because there are more used cars being sold. In fact, what is actually causing there to be more certified pre-owned cars being sold is the fact that a lot of automakers are extending the year range that they will basically allow to be qualified under certified pre-owned. And so like, I remember when I worked in the car industry, it was like, if a vehicle was more than like a few years old, then typically it wasn't going to be certified pre-owned or be able to qualify for being certified pre-owned. But now there are automakers that are extending out like several years, and sometimes, you know, in some cases, they'll even do like almost a decade at this point, again, automaker to automaker. And so because they're allowing more cars to qualify for that certified pre-owned status, it makes sense as to why more cars are being sold as certified pre-owned. And on a quick side tangent, you might be wondering why automakers would be willing to extend these certified pre-owned programs. And well, it's not exactly obvious at first because certified pre-owned status typically extends the warranty on a car, which could obviously cost an automaker a lot of money, especially if they're making it so that warranty is available on an older car with more miles. However, with certified pre-owned cars, they have to be purchased at a dealership that sells that car brand new. And on top of that, they'll typically come with some sort of servicing, or there'll be an incentive to service with that dealership, which means that that customer is more likely to purchase another car from that brand in the future, and they're going to be servicing their car with that dealership that represents that brand, which means that that brand will obviously make some money off of, you know, parts and other things that are going to be associated with servicing the car. And so certified pre-owned, again, on the surface, looks like it wouldn't necessarily make sense because it could cost automakers a lot of money in warranty claims, but when it comes to customer retention, it's actually a really good program to help out with that. The next big piece of news is the fact that overall sales volume with used cars is still on the decline. So in January, the amount of used cars that was estimated to be sold over the course of 2023, based on how many cars were sold in January, was over 37 million. Now that February has come and gone, it's dropped down to 34.5 million, which shows a decline. Now, we don't have all of the numbers for March yet, but the numbers that we have so far indicate that that overall number is going to decline even more. Now, that is the overall used car market. If you just look at retail sales, used car retail sales ticked down to 18.8 million in terms of February's pacing compared to January's pacing, which was almost 20 million used cars. And these retail sales are dealership retail sales with used cars. And so, you know, from like an overall used car perspective, things are going down, and then used cars that are sold by dealers, volume is also going down on that side as well, which just shows that, well, the cracks are forming in the used car market. But the thing that is absolutely fascinating about the situation is, despite the fact that there are fewer used cars being sold right now, the amount of inventory available, the day supply amount, is also declining. And so what that means is that there are fewer used cars selling, and there are fewer used cars available to be purchased. And on top of that, used car prices are still on the rise. The initial data for March shows that used car prices are still going up. And so this is going to push even more people out of the market. So then you think that used car prices would come down, but most likely what's going to happen is supply is going to continue to dwindle and prices are going to continue to go up. And so it's just going to basically make it so the used car market just becomes smaller and smaller. So pulling everything together, despite the fact that used car retail sales are on the decline and overall used car sales are also on the decline, inventories are also decreasing. And this actually makes quite a bit of logical sense when you look at what's happening with the market. So first off, if we backtrack a few months, we saw huge declines in used car prices. And this naturally pushed a lot of people out of the market because this put a lot of people in a position where they owed more in their car compared to what it's worth. And so that means that these people that might have traded in their car for another used car or potentially a new car car, they're no longer going to do that because they're too upside down. And so that is going to basically feed into this decline in used car inventory. And then on top of that, new car sales are continuing to decline month over month. And this is another big source of used cars because obviously, you know, most people going in and buying a new car aren't just buying a car. They usually have something that they're trading in for that car. And well, when those new car sales aren't happening, then you have less used car inventory available. And so it's kind of like this perfect situation where you basically have people going in and, you know, buying used cars, which is decreasing the inventory, and they're not necessarily trading in cars. And this is what, you know, again, anecdotally dealerships are telling me is they've got a lot of people going in and buying cars and a lot of people paying cash for cars, but they're not really getting the trade-ins. And most of the cars that dealers are getting a hold of at this point for the used car inventory that they have is actually from auction. It's not from customer trades because again, they're not really selling that many new cars, and so they're not getting trade-ins there, and they're not really getting trade-ins on the used cars either. And so once you look at it from that perspective, it makes complete logical sense as to why these used car prices are increasing. Inventory is going down, and even though, you know, again, those sales are decreasing at the same time. And then this is where I want to pull in the whole certified pre-owned vehicle sales situation. This is a move by manufacturers, again, to pull people back to their brand because manufacturers have realized that they've priced a lot of people out of the market. And this is kind of like a last ditch effort before they probably discount their new car inventory to try to keep more people within their brand because they understand that, well, their dealerships aren't getting the trade-ins that they normally get. And so their dealerships are not going to be able to sell the number of certified pre-owned cars that they can normally sell because of that whole situation. And there's also not as many lease returns currently because leasing has pretty much been dead for the last few years. That's a video for a completely different day. But again, it's kind of creating this perfect storm where manufacturers are, you know, obviously going to be kind of, I would call it almost incentivizing certified pre-owned by extending the coverage on that where you can get an older car with more miles still certified. But I think that whole trend of certified pre-owned cars, you know, more selling is only going to go on for so long. And then manufacturers are going to realize that they should probably start discounting their new inventory if they want to keep people within their brand. Let me know what you guys think about these trends. Let me know where you think this whole situation is going to go, and I'll see you.